Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin and today we're going to start our playthrough of Secrets of the Lost Station. We're doing Scenario 4, which is called Engineered. And just so you know, there are definitely going to be spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch this. But if you want to see if this game's for you, I mean, this is only Scenario 4 out of 92 scenarios. I think being spoiled on one scenario might be okay. Just saying. If you'd like to see how to set up the game, check out the video before this. I also walk through the characters and how I set up the monsters, all of that. Let's go ahead and jump in. Turns in this game are really quite quick. Here we have our Explorer actions. So during your turn, you'll have an Explorer phase and a Station phase. The Explore phase, you will always get one move action and then one action of your choice. You can either do another move, a combat, a heal, an adrenaline, an investigate, or an ability. And you can always do free actions. The only thing is you can't move, and then in the middle of your move, do that free action. Once you do a free action, you have to stop. And that free action is search, trade, item, or a station system action. Our first character to go will be Balthazar. This tells us what our movement is, so he has a total movement of 3 that he can use. Balthazar is going to go ahead and move himself into this holding cell. Now, he could, if he wanted, to move into the storage bay and do a search action. The problem with doing that is he then has to stop his movement. And I want him to get in there and attack since he's our big attacker. So we're going to have him go 1, 2, 3 for his movement, and he's going to go ahead and attack for his action. We're going to go ahead and attack that cyborg, I think. Let's start with that one. Cyborgs have a special ability that's called Targeted. During combat, you're going to lose 1 stamina for each critical failure you roll, regardless of what else you roll. So you'll see how combat works in a second. This tells us that if he deals damage to us, he deals 3. He has 7 health, and when he moves, he can move 4. What we're going to do is we're going to roll dice based upon our combat level. If we exceed with the equal or exceed this number with the amount of hits, then we don't take any damage from the cyborg. If we roll less than this 3, then we're going to take the 3 damage that's denoted here. Balthazar has a combat level of 4, so he's going to grab 4 dice. He also has that knife, so that's going to give him a 5th die. What we're going to do is we're going to roll these, and we're looking for as many of these as we can. Those are considered successes. These, we can use our audacity to turn into successes if we'd like after our roll. So let's go ahead and grab our 5 dice, give them a roll. Okay. Ooh, this is nice. So we have a total of 5 successes. So we just dealt 5 damage out of, what does that guy have, 7 health? Yeah, 7 health, that's pretty good. Normally, that exceeds the combat level, so we would take no damage. But we have a critical failure. That means we lose 1 stamina because of the cyborg's ability. We'll drop our 5 damage here. We now lose 1 stamina, but because we dealt damage to an enemy, we gain +1 to our power. Think of that as XP. Then, because we dealt damage to the enemy, we also increase our courage by 1. If that enemy dealt damage to us, we would then reduce our courage back to 1. So if we dealt damage and we took damage, we would stay the same. How I understand it, the ability of targeting, although we took damage from that wasn't from the enemy itself, that's from a special ability, so I believe we get to keep our courage where it is at 5. Now, though, we have our lizard brain is focus, so we'll get +1 die roll to our combats, so now we'll roll 6 dice. Cool. Now you can see in this room, we do have 3 search tokens. It'd be great if we could search in there because that is a free action. However, right now we're considered overpowered with our enemies. There are 2 enemies in here and only 1 character. If there are equal to or more enemies than there are characters in a room, we cannot interact with tokens. And so that means we're not able to do heal actions because essentially we're having to deal with these enemies instead of doing a search action, so to speak. So once I get 3 characters in here, we can actually do that free search. But for now, that's the end of Balthazar's turn. We move to the station phase, and all we have to do is reveal this token. Okay, it's blank. Nothing happens. Then we move to the next player. That will be Jack. Everyone except for Nakatomi's movement is 3. So we're going to go ahead and have Jack move 1, 2, 3 to move in here as well. He is also going to attack that drone. We're going to try and kill it. Jack's combat level is 3, and he has that weapon, the knife, so he rolls 4 dice. We're trying to at least get 3 successes here. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just defeated that cyborg, so we can remove that cyborg from the board. And now we have more characters than there are enemies in here, so he can do a free action to do the search action, which is great. So then we're going to remove one of those search tokens and then read the first search. Of course, first we need to remember we gained 1 experience or power because we dealt damage, plus we get a bonus for killing an enemy, so we'll actually move up to 3 total power. We'll move up our courage by 1 because we dealt damage to an enemy. What's also great is when you defeat a creature and there's another character in your room, that character gains 1 courage. So Balthazar will go up to 6 total courage thanks to Jack, because he saw Jack totally take out that drone. He's like, heck yeah. Actually, it's not a drone, it's a cyborg. And then what I'm going to do with this cyborg card is I'm going to just shuffle this back into the random enemies. If this was a grunt, we just keep it out on the board. And that's just because the grunt is a scenario-specific enemy. You open a crate that you thought would help you stock up on grenades. Instead, you find a slip of paper. Written on it is an IOU. Thanks, Magnus. Do not read aloud. If another player writes the message on a piece of paper and gives it to the active explorer, both of them draw 1 item. I'm just going to not do this because I think, you'd almost be role-playing here, and I can't really do that by myself. So I'm just going to say we don't get anything there, which is a bummer. But that's okay. That's our first search event. Let's go ahead and flip our second station token. Oh, it's blank as well. So now we'll move to our next character, Phoenix. What I'd love to do is start exploring some other tiles, but I don't think I can do that yet. And that's because we have this Meredith character here, enemy. And, I mean, if we just had the Quartermaster, I think these two could handle it. But getting another enemy in that room, I feel like she has to go and help. So she has a movement of 3. She's going to move in here as well. She'll do a free search action, but not... Well, actually, we might get an item. So we can do any of this in any order we want. Since we are outnumbering the enemies, we can do our second search first, and then we'll go ahead and try and bash some heads in of this Quartermaster. Awesome. You needed some supplies. So we'll actually get an item this time. So we'll draw this. What do we have? We have a shield. Okay, this has 2 uses, and we can prevent up to 5 damage. So we place these 2 generic tokens on here. When we use it to prevent damage, we'll remove 1. After we remove both, we'll discard it. We're going to go ahead and move into combat, but before we do that, we're going to do our portable turret. We get to target a creature, which is our Quartermaster. We're going to roll 4 dice. Any successes is straight damage to them, which is good because they've got 10 health. But if I do roll a critical failure, we discard this. Here we go with our 4 dice. We have a total of, holy moly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just dealt 6 damage. 6 damage out of 10 to the Quartermaster. That is pretty impressive. So, and we didn't roll any critical failures, so we get to keep that. So I'll put 6 damage on him. Then we're going to attack him. Our base attack is 3, and unfortunately we don't have anything to boost that up, and he's kind of tough. We actually have to get over a 4, or we're going to take 3 damage. But remember, he already has 6 damage on him. Let's see, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we are so close. So we dealt 3 damage, but we needed to get above a 4, so we're actually going to take 3 damage from him. We're not going to take 4. That's just his combat level. This tells us how much damage. Now, he did have power armor, so if we had rolled a critical failure, we'd have to reduce the damage we did by 2. Wow, I didn't even really realize that. Maybe that's a good thing. So he has a total of 9 damage on him, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 damage. So we'll gain 1 power because we did damage, but then our courage would go up by 1 because we dealt damage, and then go back down by 1 because we took damage, so the courage will stay the same. We'll gain our 1 power, and then we'll take our 3 damage. So we're down to 9. We'll move to the station part of our turn. Oh, we have an explorer event. So normally what would happen is we would read from our book and we'd learn a little bit more about Phoenix. I'm not going to do that. However, we would, after reading, we'd get to roll on this table. We roll a d6, and then based on it, we get a recall ability. So I am going to do that. So pretend I'm reading a little bit of the story from here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then we're going to roll for this recall, and then there's still a scenario-specific effect that happens whenever we have an Explorer event, so we'll also read that. For our d6 roll, we'll get a 1. As you can see here, a number 1 is a distraction. You appreciate when Darwin helps you recall memories that you thought you'd forgotten, but you really can't be distracted right now. So we're going to gain +1 power, which will move us to 3. And yeah, that will end this portion. Now we'll read the Explorer event. As you push away some stacked crates that were blocking a door, you set off a crude but effective trap. A box of medical stims falls on you from above. As you pluck the syringes from your head and neck, you wonder what chemical cocktail you were just exposed to. So now we're going to need to roll a d6. Let's hope we can roll something better than a 1 this time. I'm assuming it's going to be bad if it's a 1. Okay, it's a 3. Your heart races. So what happens is we actually get -1 stamina, so she'll move down to 8, and -2 courage, so she's going to go all the way down to 1 for her courage. Yeah, we're going to need to fix that. She's not going to get any of her bonuses with 1 courage. Well, I had this whole plan for Nakatomi to go ahead and start exploring some tiles, but that quartermaster only has 1 health left, and we have a combat scenario coming up in 2 turns. It'd be great if we killed him before that so we didn't have to deal with him. It would mean that he might take some damage, but I think it's worth it. So his movement is 4, but we're still only going to move him in here. He only has a combat of 3, but we just need 1 success to take this guy out. We do have to hope we don't roll a critical failure. And we rolled just 1 success. So we're going to take 3 damage, but we are going to take him out, which will give us +1 power, and then we'll give everyone else in this room, so everybody else will get +1 courage. We'll push up our power to 3, and then we would gain 1 courage, but then we actually lose it because we took damage. 1, 2, 3, we're at 9. But then everyone else got pushed up 1 for courage. This means Jack is 1 away from 5, and Phoenix has 2 now instead of 1. Balthazar is already at 7. I mean, he's a courage fiend. He is not scared of anything. We do still have 1 more search token in that room, so let's go ahead and search that before ending our turn, because that is a free action. Well, this is how you can tell I'm not reading ahead, because this is not good. I don't want him to have this. Yes, a med kit, which is great, but the +2 power is not great. Enemies will always target the strongest character if there's a tie of the closest character, and right now he will then have a total of 5 power. Ugh, no! But he does get the stim pack and the adrenaline. They each have 2 uses. The adrenaline will give +2 courage to any explorer in your room, and the stim pack is +3 health or stamina to any character in the room, and they both have 2 uses. So we'll drop these tokens on them. That was the end of Nakatomi's explorer phase. Now we'll have our first scenario trigger. Over the intercom, you hear a strange, stuttering voice.
Hello, friends, this is Magnus. You may not remember me, 'cause when we met, you threw me and my mates in your prison.
There was a pause as the speaker composed himself.
So, you thought capturing our escape vessel and throwing us in deep freeze would stop the Red Rock Raiders?
Yeah! There's cheering in the background.
I sure hope you put our ship somewhere safe, maybe even cleaned her up a bit, 'cause we'll be needing her back now. We didn't escape that dust ball of a planet just to be thrown back into prison. So stay clear of us, and we'll only take some supplies and be on our way. Try and stop us, and we'll take your lives.
Spawn 3 grunts, or Red Rock Raiders, in maximum security. You must stop the raiders from escaping. See special rules about movement and combat. Cool. Okay, they're going to run away from us. Here we are, all sitting in the holding cell, and they just spawned over here in the maximum security. Next round, we're going to move to a combat round where I believe they're going to start running away from us. So now we've got to figure out how to stop them from running. And I have an idea, although I don't particularly like it. It's Balthazar's turn next. He's kind of a beast when it comes to combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 step into here. Now there's an enemy in here. I'm going to do an evasion and move past her to move into this room. But to do that, I take a stamina damage, 1 for every creature in this room, or if there was a boss in here, it would be 3 damage for each boss. So Balthazar's going to take 1 damage. Fortunately, he hadn't taken any damage before, so I don't know, he did take 1. So he's at 11 instead of 13. But this means he can attack these grunts, as well as when it's their activation, they're going to attack him instead of running away. Now these grunts aren't particularly strong. They only have 6 health, only attack for 2. The only thing is they have maniac or manic aggression. It says if a grunt deals damage and there's creatures outnumber the explorers, which yeah, it's 3 to 1 right now, double the damage dealt. So right now, if we do take damage, Balthazar's going to take 4 damage. Balthazar's base stat is 4 damage. He's got that knife for +1, and he is focused, so his lizard brain is +1 for combat as well. So he's actually rolling 6 dice. We just have to make sure we get 3 damage. I'm hoping for 6 here, and we can just take one of these guys out. That is a total of 3 only 3. Man, I was hoping for more, but that's okay. 3 successes. We just dealt 3 damage to the number 1 grunt. So that's 3 damage to him, which is good. I just wish it was more. Before we move to the station event phase, I do need to remember Balthazar gains 1 power, so now he's at 3, and 1 courage because he dealt damage, so he's at 8 courage and 3 power. Now, though, we're going to have enemies attack. For our combat, these 3 grunts are going to go ahead and stay here and attack Balthazar. But this Meredith here is within 1 space between Balthazar and our 3 other characters here. And so to determine where she needs to go, what we need to do is they prioritize characters that have the most power. Unfortunately, that would be Nakatomi here, even though I don't want that to be the case. So she's going to move into here and attack Nakatomi. What's nice about this game is combat, regardless of who it's initiated by, it works the same way. So let's have the 3 grunts attack Balthazar first. So Balthazar will roll his dice. It's the same 6. We'll start with number 1. So we still need to get 3 successes to take no damage. And we get only 2 successes. Bummer. So we are going to take some damage. That will, oh man, and he's going to be overpowered because there's 3 of them and only 1 of him. So that'll deal 2 more damage and do a total of 5 damage to that 1 grunt. But that means that that grunt's still not dead. He normally would deal 2 damage, but because of their special ability, he's going to deal 4 damage to Balthazar. That means Balthazar moves down to 7 health. Okay, that's the first one. I was really hoping for 3 successes. That would have killed him. All right, our second roll. Oh, I do need to remember, we did do damage. So because we did damage, we would move up our power by 1. But since we took damage, there'd be nothing for increasing our courage. With this second roll here, we right now only have 1 success. But what I'm going to do is you can see I have 2 audacity symbols. I'm going to use 1 audacity, and that will put us down to 1 left that we have. But that means we have a total of 3 successes. That means we did not take any damage, and we dealt 3 damage to that number 2 grunt. So that's 3 out of the 6 health. Whew, okay. We'll also gain 1 power, so our power will go to 5. And since we didn't take damage, our courage goes to 9. Yeah, we are... Bring it on! The designer actually has a playthrough of Scenario 34. I recommend watching it. I'll actually put it in the description below so you guys can find it. But in that one, he talks about how Balthazar was actually based off of a D&D character that he made. So that's kind of cool. So I can just imagine this. This was an amazing roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He just killed the 3rd grunt. So he'll get 2 power for that and 1 courage. And this grunt is gone. That's our first quest-specific token that we have. Remember, we need to get 5 of those, so that's our first one. 2 power also moves us all the way up to 7. Now we're going to have to resolve the attack of the Meredith going against Nakatomi. And here's the thing. Look at this ability. If she deals damage and a critical failure is rolled, she deals 2 additional stamina damage. And her combat number is 4, and he's only rolling 3 dice. And he'll take 4 damage. Here's to hoping we can do something with this roll. Okay, we have 1 success. Do we want to spend to do 2 damage? We only have 2 audacity. No, it's not worth it. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to have Phoenix use one of her items, this shield. It's going to prevent 5 damage. Normally he'd take 4 damage. He did deal 1 at least to the Meredith, but the Meredith has 11 health, by the way. Holy moly. I should mention that Nakatomi did gain another power, so he is now at power level 6, but he gained no courage because he did take damage. Now we're going to move to Jack. Jack's courage is still only at 4, so he doesn't get his +1 combat die, but he is going to roll 4 dice, and I think we're going to try and take on that Meredith. So we've got our 4 dice here for his first action, or his action this round. And he has 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 audacity. Let's use 1 audacity to make that 4 successes so we don't take any damage. That 4 hits means that the Meredith now has a total of 5 damage out of 11. I could do a move since we outnumber that Meredith, but I don't think I want to move. Jack is a pretty good attacker, so I think we need him there. Okay, our event has nothing, so we'll just go ahead and move to Phoenix. We'll start with Phoenix using her portable turret. Let's see what she gets. She gets 1, 2, 3 straight damage and no critical failure, so we don't have to worry about discarding it. Wow, that is an amazing item. So she'll go from 5 damage to 8. Only needs to take 3 more damage and we kill her. So I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to have her do that combat. Well, I have to because I'm assuming that you do this. It says during combat target. So I'm assuming I have to initiate combat to do that. Okay, I just need 3 successes here. I can soak a 4 attack. I've got that shield. Come on, 3 successes. No, I have a critical failure and 1 success. Ow. So the 1 success will do 1 more point of damage. So she has 9 damage. She only has 2 health left. That will give us 1 power, so we'll go up to 4. But then we should take 4 damage, so I think we are going to use our second shield token to prevent 5 damage. That means that we don't get the additional damage because of that critical failure, because she did not deal damage. Whew. But yeah, we're going to discard our shield, and that's the use of that item. But I think that was a good idea. I feel like between Nakatomi and Jack, we can handle the holding cell, so I think for her move, we're going to have her move 1, 2 into the maximum security, so that way she can help out Balthazar. Now you might be wondering, well, why don't I go ahead and have her move into a new tile? You can see none of these rooms have doors. Those icons mean that they have a door. I have to find a room that has a door, which would be this observation tower. So they kind of set up the scenario. You have to go long ways all the way over here to start exploring. Kind of like how they did that. We'll reveal our next station token. Still blank. Great, but we have another scenario effect next round. Moving to Nakatomi's turn, as much as I'd love to kill that Meredith, I don't think I can. I can't take another 4 points of damage. So our movement is 4. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and we can do that because and take no damage because we will outnumber him while he's in here. There's only 2 of those enemies in here, and we'd have 3 characters. So we're moving here for 3, and then 4, we finally can explore our first tile. Here we have a ton of tiles, 30 tiles, and this is the first time we're actually flipping one over. We have the bridge. So the bridge says, when explored, which is right now, place 2 generic tokens. We can take an action to remove a token and switch 2 explored rooms that are on the outside of the play area. Oh, that's kind of cool. I have no idea if we need specific tiles for this scenario, but if we do, that's an awesome ability. Now you can see here there's 1 door. There's no door here because you can see that's the door, no door, no door, no door. So we just found a dead end. Bummer. We've placed the tiles so the 2 doors are connected. Now we can still do an action, and I think I'm going to do a heal action. You can only do heal actions when you are outnumbering the enemies or there aren't any enemies in your room, which is the whole reason why I want to do this. Even though I know I've got a stim pack that I can use, I'll save that for my other characters later. We get to roll dice equal to our knowledge. Our knowledge is 5, so that's the other reason. He's really good at this. So I've got 5 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 6 at first. Only 5 dice. We heal by the amount of successes that we rolled. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I could use Audacity for 6, but I think 4 is good enough. That'll get us all the way back to full at 12 from 9. Now, though, we're going to have our next scenario event. The familiar voice of the leader booms over the intercom. Tisk, tisk. Now, is that any way to treat a visitor? Guess I'll just have to teach you some manners. If the virus has not been hacked, which of course it hasn't because I haven't revealed any blasted tiles except for 1, spawn 1 random creature in your room. Great. And that's right where Nakatomi is. We'll reveal our card, and we have a drone. We have a drone, armored. When destroyed, deal 2 damage to all explorers and non-cybermorph creatures in the same room. But Cybermorph, he's got a special ability Nakatomi does for Cybermorph characters. Nakatomi can once per game spend an action to replace a Cybermorph creature with a Cybermorph companion under your control. So it has to be during his turn, so we're not going to be able to do that now, but next round, as long as this drone isn't dead, we can actually turn that into a companion. What I can see is his backstory is he was a hacker, so essentially he hacked this drone when it's his turn. He would hack it, and then that would become a companion. That's kind of cool. For Balthazar's turn, we're going to go ahead and attack the grunt number 2. He has 3 damage. We're hoping we can do the remaining 3 and take him out. We have our 6 dice. Let's pick him up and give him a roll. Come on. 3 damage. Oh, yeah. I'm going to count that one. 1, 2, 3. I definitely think that's good enough. This means Balthazar will move from 7 power to 9. He goes all the way up to 10 courage, And then Phoenix, who's in that room, will also bump up for her courage to 3. We've also obtained our second quest token. Remember, we need 5 of those. I'm pretty sure we have to find the communications bay and the hangar at some point, so I think we are still going to do our move action. Because we now outnumber the enemies here, he can move out with no penalty. So he's going to go 1, 2, and come out here and see what he can find. We'll flip our top tile, and we have the weapons center. When explored, which is right now, we can place 3 search tokens. If you gain +1 item, select the next available weapon. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, we're going to place 3 search tokens there. And looking here, we have 3 doors. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. We just don't have a door over here. We can still do a free action. I believe we have 1 more search we can do, so we're going to do the final search here, and then I'm going to remove all of these tokens. There's only 4 search events, so that means we can only search 4 times in this game. Well, look at this. Search 4. You were hoping for a weapon, but rations will work. We get +3 stamina, so that's going to push us back from 7 all the way to 10. Our full health is 13, so we still have a ways to go. +1 courage, we can... Let's see. No, we can't. We're already at 10, so that doesn't help. But +2 power, you guys, means we level up. We are at 9. We'll go to 10, and then we'll go back to 1, and we get to level up our specific card that we have here, our ability. So what we get to do is flip this from the level 1 side to the level 2. So we are definitely focused. We get +3 to our combat dice pool. That is amazing. Now, though, we're going to have a combat event. So all enemies on the board are going to attack. We have the Meredith here with Jack, so we'll do that first. Then we have our Grunt here with Phoenix. And then, of course, we have our drone over here with Nakatomi. And I'm hoping I don't do too much damage to that drone. Jack just needs 2 successes here. He's going to roll 4 dice. 2 will take her out. And we've got 3 successes. Unfortunately, you know what? I don't want to take 4 damage. I'm going to use another one of our Audacity. So our Audacity is going to go from 3 down to 2 to make that a success. That means we have 1, 2, 3, 4 total successes. We will defeat Meredith, and we won't take any damage. He will gain 1 courage. He'll go to 5 courage, and 2 power. He'll go from 3 to 5. No one else is in the room, so no one else gains any courage. And then I'll shuffle this card back in to the random monster deck. Next, we're going to have Phoenix. Now, this Grunt only has 1 health left. So let's go ahead and use our portable turret, because it's during a combat we can do this. So I'm going to grab the 4 dice here. If I can just get 1 success, we kill him. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to lose it. But we do have more than enough successes. That Grunt, or that Red Rock Raider, is also gone. Unfortunately, so is our turret. But you know what? We used it 3 times. It was awesome. She'll go up to a total of 4 courage and a total of 5 power. Finally, we have our drone. And our drone is going to attack Nakatomi, who his combat is only 3. So it's going to roll 3 dice. Let's see. Okay, 2 successes. I'm almost bummed about that. His ability is about when he's killed. So he'll take 2 damage. So I'll put 2 damage on there. But then, unfortunately, Nakatomi's going to take 3. So that means he will go from 12 back down to 9. But he does gain 1 power. The courage cancels each other out since he took damage. I'm realizing, you guys, when Balthazar explored that room, I forgot to give him the +1 power for exploring, but that's okay. He can't even use power anymore, but I still need to track it because the strongest or the most powered character are the ones that enemies attack. So Balthazar now has 2 power. So now we're going to go to Jack. I think we're going to do with Jack is go 1, 2, 3. He's going to come to the observation tower, and we're going to do the action there. We're going to look at the top 3 tiles and place them back in the same order on the top of the stack. So we get to know what's coming, and we'll see if we can find either the hangar bay or the communications. Here we have our top 3 tiles. We have a hydroponics, the communications, yes, and the holodeck. Now I don't have the hangar tile yet, but at least I know. So I know I need to do 2 explorers to get to communications. Something I haven't mentioned specifically, but you've noticed, is you cannot explore 2 new tiles in 1 turn. So it's going to take me at minimum 2 turns. I can have 1 person explore this one and 1 person explore this one. That's the end of Jack's turn. We'll flip this one. We have no event. So now we're going to move to Phoenix. Phoenix has a total of 3 movement, so we'll have her go 1, 2, and then move into this space. We know what we're going to get. We're going to get that hydroponics, and this one has any time an explorer or a monster enters this room, check your movement, and if you hit a fail, you have a spore attack, which is pretty bad, but we needed to do that to get this out. So we're going to have to do a spore check, and it's a movement check, and unfortunately, we have to get 2 successes, and her movement's only 3. Here's to hoping for 2 successes. And we only have 1. I could use Audacity. She only has 2 Audacity. I'll take the 2 damage. So she'll take the 2 damage, and she'll also gain 1 power because she explored. So that puts her to 6 power. She's down to 6 health. I'm realizing we haven't done an action, so I'm going to go ahead and try and heal myself. Rolling 4 dice, because that's what her knowledge is. And let's see, we got 1 whopping success. Woohoo! So she'll go from 6 health to 7. We'll move to the station track, and we have another blank tile. Great. So now we're going to move to Nakatomi. For Nakatomi's action, we're going to go ahead and do a reboot. Once per game, spend an action to replace a cybermorph creature with a cybermorph companion under your control. Now the damage does remain. What we get to do is remove this drone from our room, and then we have a cybermorph, companion that follows us. It has 14 health. Now, unfortunately, we hit our drone for 2 damage, so he already has 2 damage on him. He's got 12 remaining. And when you do this, our total combat score gets +1. So right now we're at 3. This will make us go to 4. You cannot trade your companions, and they follow you around the board. You'll just simply keep the cards, kind of like another item. That was our action, but we still get to do a move, and our movement is 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 to come into here, and we know it's the communications tile, and that's one of the ones that we need to read. So we'll take a look at that after we place that here. And what's nice is there is a door here, so this connects to the gravity control. The virus was uploaded in this room, Darwin chimes. You'll be able to access the virus root code here. Once you've cleared it out, I recommend monitoring the system for several hours further to make sure there are no additional surprises. Place 2 quest tokens here on communications to represent the virus code. To attempt to hack the virus, any explorer may spend an action in the communications and make a knowledge check of 2. Pass. Success. You remove a quest token. If there are no quest tokens remaining, resolve the scenario trigger, virus hacked. Okay, cool. Fail. Keep trying. -1 courage, but we get +1 power and audacity. Okay. Well, we've already done our action, so we're not going to be able to do that, but we found where the virus is. That's great. Moving to the station event phase, we'll flip this token over, and we have to have a combat. But there's no enemies on the board. So when there's no enemies on the board, you have to reveal a random creature. So we have the Mare Death. Golly, these guys are terrible. But you place them in a boarding entrance. So some of the tiles say boarding entrance. One of them is the docking station. I'm going to go ahead and place her over there in the docking station. I don't particularly want to deal with her, just in case I have to move back over there, so I'm going to do something fun. For Balthazar's turn, we're going to move into the communications room, and we're actually going to do the action on the tile itself. We can take an action to vent to space. If no explorer is present in the targeting boarding entrance, select a creature to vent into space. A boss is immune. So yeah, she just showed up in the docking station, and Balthazar was like, screw that. I'm not dealing with that. Moving in here, we open up the vents, and she gets sucked out into space. So she's gone. Balthazar is not the most knowledgeable character in the world, only a 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use his one-time game special ability, because I do think we're going to have a scenario effect shortly, and I want to get at least one of those items hacked from that virus. So we're going to spend, well, you can see here, it says once per game for 1 turn, spend stamina to gain bonus to checks. Gain 1 die for each stamina spent. So we're at 10. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to take 3 damage, so I can roll a total of 2 plus 3, 5 dice for this check. We have to get a knowledge 2. Thematically, I'm seeing Nakatomi helping out Balthazar to try and do this. Oh, great. 4 successes. That means we get to claim 1 of those quest tokens. We'll then flip our next token. What are we at? We're at round 13. Oh, we're going to have a station event. So we're actually almost halfway through the game already. A sleeper code was triggered in gravity control. Moments later, you find yourself floating off the deck. It will take Darwin a while to reboot the repair system. All you can do is hang tight and hope that nothing else goes wrong. All explorers perform an audacity check. Pass, you get some practice with zero-G maneuvers. You may move to any adjacent room that has already been explored. Then if there's a creature in your room, you may immediately start combat with it. Fail, you float in place, unable to move. Resolve the next event on the event track. If multiple explorers fail, each resolves 1 event in turn order. Oh my gosh, that's horrendous. That's going to push through. Okay, well, we'll start off with, I'm assuming, the first player, which is Balthazar. He has 1. Yeah, that's right, 1 audacity. Here's our roll of 1 die, and we get a success. Okay, great. So we can move, but I think I'm going to stay where I am. So now we're going to do Jack. Jack has a total of 2 audacity, so we'll grab 2 dice. Come on, a success. We have a critical failure. Okay, I'm going to just do all of them here just for ease of recording, and then we'll resolve the event. So right now there's 1 event. We're going to do Phoenix. She's also at 2. So I'll grab these 2 dice. And she gets a success. And then Nakatomi, what is he at? He has 3 Audacity. So we'll grab 3 dice. And okay, we're going to use an Audacity for a success. I think it's worth it. We're going to go down to 2 Audacity. But that means we only have to resolve 1 additional event. Oh. Our next event is actually a scenario trigger. So we'll flip this and let's see what we get. You hear someone tapping on the intercom to see if it's on. See, the great thing about this prison is you have a captive audience and a common enemy. A good combination to make friends, Magnus says. Speaking of which, I hear there's a legend in our presence. How are you doing, Nakatomi? Recognize the virus yet? You look at Nakatomi. No comment, he says. If the hangar bay has not been discovered, all Red Rock Raiders move and attack. Oh, so they're looking for the hangar bay. Duh. Okay, there are no grunts out on the board, so that's fine. If the virus has not been hacked, spawn 1 random creature. I'm assuming I'd have to have both of those quest tokens off. So yeah, I'm going to have to spawn a random creature. And what do we have? Oh, we have a Fallen. That's one that we haven't seen. They have no special ability. Their rage is fueled by the blood spilled from their severed wings. Ooh, that sounds terrible. Yeah, 8 health, hits for 4, but you only have to get 3 successes so that you're not hit. So it's not terrible. This was for Jack, because Jack was the one that failed. So we'll put this into Jack's room. For Jack's turn, let's go ahead and just attack this Fallen. He's in the room. Let's do it. 5 dice. We're looking for at least 3 successes. That 5 is because his base combat is 3. He has 5 courage, so he goes up to 4 because of his combat skill. And then he's got the knife for 5. Let's roll him up. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 successes. That's 4 out of the 8 health. And that's above their combat level of 3, so he takes no damage. That does mean his power goes up to 6, and his courage goes up to 6. We'll flip our next station event, and it's blank. So now we're going to Phoenix. We're going to have Phoenix try and finish this hack. She's going to move 2 into here and try and take out this virus. Nakatomi, tell me what to do. She's got herself 4 dice, so let's grab those for her knowledge check. She just needs 2 successes, and she's got 1, 2. Oh. Okay, that means we got our second quest token, and now we can read about having the virus hacked. If you're playing Nakatomi, resolve event A. If you're playing another explorer, resolve event B. So since Phoenix was the one who did it, we'll resolve event B. Even though Nakatomi was busy dealing with the raiders, you wouldn't have been able to hack the virus without his help. You are glad he joined the EOP. He would be way too dangerous if you were an enemy. Just don't let him know that. His ego is already too big. That's awesome. Okay, Phoenix gains plus 5 power, which is amazing. She is at 6. That puts her to 11. That means she'll level up, which is awesome. I'll show you that in a second. And she gains plus 2 Audacity. So she'll go from 2 to 4. And then Nakatomi will gain 3 power. That will put him right at 10. So his next power that he gets, he'll level up. If we had already defeated 5 Red Rock Raiders, we'd read the win condition. We've only defeated 3. So we need to find 2 more and defeat them. Our level up, we'll flip this over, and now she will have plus 2 to her dice pool if she's focused. No, she's not focused. So still just be plus 1 to her combat dice pool. Scarlet Terror. We're going to flip our combat token. That means that the Fallen is going to attack Jack. 5 dice, looking for 3 successes at least. And we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm going to use an Audacity. Definitely. So we're going to go down to 1. And the total amount of damage we're going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 plus the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 damage there. That's going to take her out. She only has 8 health. So that means we will gain 2 power. We'll go to 8. And then our courage will go up to 7. Well, there's one advantage of editing before you've finished a playthrough. I am realizing I missed 2 station events that I should have flipped. Balthazar took an extra action a turn, and then Jack should have flipped one for his turn. So I'm going to flip these 2 to catch us up. Then we'll move to Jack's turn. So our first one, oh yes, we have an Explorer event for Jack. Actually, for Jack. So we're going to pretend that we read from this booklet, and then we're going to roll a d6 to see what we get, and we get a 6. We're empowered. A lesson learned once is strong, but a lesson learned twice is powerful. Nothing can stand in the way of someone who is firmly rooted in both their past and their present. Gain plus 2 Audacity. That is awesome. He'll go from 1 to 3 Audacity. You notice a missing ceiling panel in the corner of the room. Move the Red Rock Raider closest to you that is not in the hangar bay to your room. He immediately attacks you. There aren't any on the board, so I don't think I need to worry about that. So that was his one to catch up. This will be Balthazar's one. We're going to flip our scenario token over, and then we'll move to Jack's turn. You hear the by now very familiar click of the intercom and know your day is about to get even better. You know, my favorite game growing up was hide and seek, you know? The game where you put traps all around you and wait for your friends to run into them while they're looking for you. Well, I'm feeling a bit nostalgic. Have fun. If the hangar bay has not been discovered, all Red Rock Raiders... we need to find Red Rock Raiders. We don't have any on the board. If the virus has not been hacked, it has, so we don't have to worry about that. You know how we just spawned that creature in the docking station? Let's go ahead and have Jack move over here to the communication center and vent it out. Whoa! So that means we have no enemies on the board. We'll flip our next event, and we have a station event. All the lights in this room have been crudely smashed. You raise your weapon and turn your armor spot beam to take a look around. As you near the center of the room, you hear the metallic clattering on the floor. "Red Rock Sunrise!" someone cries, and a sensory grenade explodes. Spawn one Red Rock Raider in your room. He immediately attacks you. You suffer a -1 combat penalty. Roll 1 fewer die during this combat. Oh great, we get another Red Rock. That's what I want. We get to roll 4 dice for this. Normally it'd be 5 for Jack, but it's only 4 because of that -1 penalty. And let's see, we get a terrible roll. We would only get 1 success with that Audacity, so I don't think I'm going to even use that. That means we're going to take a whopping, only 2 points of damage. That's not terrible, but I was hoping to do some damage to him. So we'll go from 12 to 10. That is going to knock our courage down to 6. Still above the 5, which is important. Moving to Phoenix, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We know we need to defeat these Red Rock Raiders. This will be our 4th one. So we're just going to attack. We'll roll 4 dice for our attack. We have 1, 2. I definitely think I'm going to use my Audacity. I've got 4 Audacity, so I'm going to move down to 3. So I've got 3 successes then. 1, 2, 3. I take no damage, and that's half the health of that grunt. We'll then move to the event phase, and we're just going to have a combat. And so looking, all 4 of our characters are there. The one that has the most power is, of course, Nakatomi. So Nakatomi is going to get attacked from the Red Rock Raider, but don't forget he has his companion. So his total base attack is 4 instead of 3. If he can get himself 4 successes, or I should say 3 successes here with the 4 dice. Let's see, 1, 2, definitely going to use Audacity. Yes, we have 2, so I'll use one of them down to 1. 3 successes defeats that grunt. So that means he will increase his power from 10. He'll level up and then go to 2. And his courage will go to 2, and everyone else's courage will increase. So Phoenix will go to a 5 finally. Jack will go to a 7. And Balthazar will stay at 10 because he's already at 10. We collected another quest token, and now we have a level 2 called the Leg Sweep. So because we are still unfocused, we don't have enough courage, we still get +1 to our combat dice pool. At this point, I'm just trying to figure out how we can get that final Red Rock Raider to come out. So I think I'll just go ahead and, for Nakatomi's turn, have him move into this room. Let's see what we get. We will flip this. And we have, oh yeah, our holodeck. I forgot about that. We can take an action and test our skill. Roll a d6, depending on which one of these things we get. And then we can pass. We'll gain that amount of power. I'll move in there, but I don't think there's really anything I need to do here. It is a closed off room, so it will block us off. I think what I'll do in this room is I'll go ahead and just do a heal or a knowledge check to see if I can heal some of my wounds. We'll grab our 5 dice for our knowledge check. And we have no successes unless I use Audacity, which is silly. I'm not going to use Audacity. We'll just take the fail. We'll move to our station event. We will flip this. There's nothing there. So now we're going to go back to Balthazar. I kind of like seeing new tiles. So let's go ahead and explore here. Let's see what we can find. We'll flip this tile, and we have, golly, I throw it. We have an airlock. Oh, it's another boarding entrance. Transportation location when explored, spawn 1. Oh man, we have to spawn a creature. Well, that's okay. We like to attack people. We'll grab a random creature card, and we have a quartermaster. Ooh, 10 health. Ouch. And a 4 for combat. Well, Balthazar is a combat fiend, so let's go ahead and attack that quartermaster. Balthazar's base combat is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he gets 3 additional due to his skill, and he's got 10 courage, and then 1 because of the knife. 8 dice. Okay, we need 4 successes though. Let's see. Well, looking here, we only have 2 successes, If I turn this audacity into 4, we would do 4 successes, but this quartermaster has, if you roll any critical failures, the damage that you do to the quartermaster is reduced by 2. So I still think I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the final audacity so I don't take damage, but that means he'll only take 2 damage. These 2 will be blocked by our critical failure. That does mean our power will go up to 3 and our courage is where it's going to be. We'll then flip our next token and we have a scenario event. We have here, if there are surviving raiders, read the following. We don't have any raiders out on the board, so I'm going to ignore this. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I was kind of hoping that event would spawn another Red Rock Raider, but I guess not. So what we're going to do here for Jack's turn, we're just going to move into the airlock, and we are going, it says when explored, so we don't have to reveal another enemy. We're going to go there and we're going to attack that quartermaster. 5 dice for this roll. Let's see. Okay, I like it. 2, 4, 5. That's 5 straight damage plus the 2 he has. That's a total of 7 of the 10 health and no damage. That also means Jack will gain 1 power, so he's at 9, and 1 courage, he's at 8. Then we'll go ahead and have a combat event, and since Jack has the most power in that room, the quartermaster will attack him. We'll then pick up our dice, same thing, 5 dice. Let's see, holy moly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Quartermaster is gone. That'll give him 2 power, which will allow him to level up because he was at 9 before. He'll get 1 courage, and Balthazar is already at 10, so he doesn't need any courage. We now have a muscle mastery, so because he's focused, he'll get +2 to his combat dice rolls. For Phoenix's turn, let's go ahead and go 1, 2, and we'll explore that space. We found the Master Sanctum. It's only an action that we can do if we picked that station system, but of course we picked the drone system that we still haven't found. So that's what we're going to do for this turn. Let me see. Yeah, she could heal, so let's go ahead and do a knowledge check. Rolling 4 dice, and she heals by 3, so she'll go from 7 to 10. We'll flip our next token, and we have a station event. Starting with the active explorer and proceeding in turn order, each explorer performs a Mythos 2 check. When an explorer fails the check, the event ends, and the remaining explorers do not have to make the check. If they pass, they get +1 courage and +1 power. We actually want to fail. We want to spawn 1 Red Rock Raider in our room. Once we do that, we can defeat that one and win the game. Phoenix Mythos is only 2, so let's see how she does. Come on, don't get 2. Great, she only got 1 success. That means we're going to spawn the final Red Rock Raider we need to defeat in our room. Moving to Nakatomi's turn, what we're going to do is go 1, 2, 3 to move into that room and attack that grunt. I think we can do this, and I'm going to anyways just because it's going to be fun. We're going to use both uses of the adrenaline to give him +4 courage. That will put him at 6, so he gets his combat bonus. So he will roll a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice going against this grunt. Come on, 6 successes right here. We would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, close. If we use an audacity, which we definitely will, that's our last audacity, we will deal 5 out of the 6 damage. Ah, so close. That will pump us up to 3 for our power and 7 for our courage. We'll flip our station token, and it's blank. Okay, so this means Balthazar is going to take out that grunt. He's going to roll 8 dice, needing 1 success. Come on, 1 success. Let's see it. 1, 2, 3, we're good. The last grunt falls to his knees with a defiant glare. You may have defeated us, but you won't live long enough to enjoy your victory. As his last words trail off, you wonder what other surprises the Red Rock Raiders may have left you. Remove all remaining Red Rock Raiders from play, no more can spawn. If you've already hacked the virus, read the win conclusion. I don't particularly want to spoil too much of the story, so I'm actually just going to show you what you would unlock. You'd unlock the Deep Web Hacker, you'd get a station system called Blaster Turret, and a room tile. Cool, so now any of the future scenarios, you would have those items available to you. So there you have it. That was Secrets of the Lost Station. You can see it's a combination of story-driven plus dice checking. Yeah, I really enjoy it. I'm trying to decide. Secrets of the Lost Tomb had a lot of different pieces moving and going at the same time, so it was a challenge to play it a lot of times, just because you had to remember all the little fiddly bits that were moving and interacting. But that also made it kind of fun, and so you don't have that in this game. This is a lot more straightforward. It's focused more on the story, at least that's what the designer has said, and I can definitely see that. I am excited to continue going. Do I think I'll play 92 scenarios of it? I'm not sure. I don't know if you start off with only one ability per player and you're going to slowly unlock them. I almost feel like what I'd prefer is have gotten rid of the first maybe 20 scenarios and started with at least 3 abilities per player, because at least in this beginning, it feels like the most important ability is your combat always, because that's what you're doing most of the game. And so I feel like characters that start off without having that combat skill are definitely at a disadvantage. Now, I haven't played farther in the campaign, and part of me just wants to jump somewhere. I saw the designer suggest maybe the Lost Station, so I might actually just jump to the Lost Station scenarios, find out what I should have unlocked, and I think by that point, everyone would have at least 3 individual abilities, and then it'll kind of even everybody out, and I think I could have more interesting scenarios. Now, I thought this was fun. I'm assuming that this should have been harder if maybe those grunts were able to start moving and exploring. Oh yeah, and I found that communications room super early. I still didn't even find the hangar bay. Who knows where it was? We got the portal chamber, research lab, med bay, drone, because there was my drone one, sleep compartments, engine room. My goodness, where the heck was it? There it was. So the hangar bay was way down there, and that's just luck based. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see another scenario. I think I might try and do one that's later in the campaign, just to show you guys kind of more what the game could be like when it's fleshed out. The designer did do a playthrough of Scenario 34, and that one looks super fun, especially because it has a nod to Secrets of the Lost Tomb, and I kind of want to play that one. So maybe that's what I do. I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching. I will see you at the next stop.